Mike Bagley, they work over in front of you.
One driver in the middle and going back, Joey Logano. He's trying to hang on to his spot inside of the top 10.
Here comes the champ to his inside. Chase Elliott, that Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet, to the inside of Joey Logano. Side by side for position number 9 now with Ryan Preece.
2 by 2 by 2, then you get back to 3 wide, 3 rows deep. In other words, they are racing very hard. Steve Post, weigh in on this, because if we go all the way back towards the tail end of the field, we find the 2-time and defending Daytona 500 champion running back there. I have a feeling he's thinking, it's early, and I'm not about to wreck this race car.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, he did pit there on lap number 5. He was concerned he might have ran over something out there, and looking around things, the car was fine. He found himself in the back, and he feels real comfortable back there.
Whoa, trouble back straightaway. Now Eric Almirola gets turned. Shit. You've also got others crashing and colliding. Alex Bowman is in it. You've got Matt DiBenedetto, Ryan Blaney, William Byron, Martin Truex Jr., Tyler Reddick. They're sliding through the grass mud, flying everywhere. A massive crash off the end of the back straightaway that probably has almost half this field collected.
Wow, Martin Truex Jr., Matt DiBenedetto, pole sitter Alex Bowman is torn up. He's stuck down in the mud down there. Jamie McMurray's got a big piece of this crash as well. Also, Tyler Reddick, his car is beat up. That is headed for the junkyard. A lot of cars wounded or stuck down there, including Eric Almirola. Back to the backstretch and Mike Bagley.
And that's where the accident started, Alex. Eric Almirola, I believe, got a push strap that went wrong, and it hooked him, and it turned him right up into Alex Bowman. Those two cars got collected, made contact with the outside wall, and then everybody came sliding and piling in. They had absolutely nowhere to go. Track was completely blocked, and then when these cars made its way down the banking, they began to slide into the infield grass, and that's a muddy, muddy enterprise with all the rain we've had here in Daytona this week. Mud is strewn up on the banking. Cars are fasted in the mud down here. It's going to take them a while to get them out, but wow, a multi-car crash to start the Daytona 500.
I don't think that's what a lot of these drivers were thinking about when they took the green flag just 14 laps ago. We're going to get a chance to look at it on a monitor, then we'll recap, figure out how many cars involved. We're up over 10, and I have a feeling there's even more. Well, we were just talking about with Steve Post why Denny Hamlin was not running in that pack. Steve didn't get a chance to finish his thoughts, but I think we all know what he was about to say as it played out on the super stretch. We're up to 14 drivers. A lot of your favorites collected very early. No free pass, but when we do have a free pass, it's delivered by DoorDash. DoorDash, proud sponsor of Bubba Wallace. Every flavor welcome. Again, we'll come back and we'll recap just exactly what happened. From Daytona International Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR. A crash that's going to change the complexion of this year's running of the Daytona 500 for sure. An update on the cars involved in just a moment. It's growing. And what we know is this, Rusty, it happened at the front of the field, running second and third. Eric Almirola running second. Behind him, Christopher Bell. On the bottom of the racetrack, looked like Christopher got into the back of Eric, turned Eric around, and it was on.
This is just a classic bump drafting gone bad. Christopher Bell started bump drafting Eric Almirola, turned him sideways right into the wall, and the whole thing started. I got to tell you what, I was really concerned about this, guys, because everybody is so jacked up for this Daytona 500. We got a little bit of rain coming. That's in their minds, and they started getting after it down that back straightaway. And another wreck, a major one, in a straightaway. Usually we see these wrecks in the corners, but of late with all this bump drafting, it's been in the straightaways turning these cars loose.
So right now, as it stands, we're up to, 17 cars involved in the crash starting at the end of the backstretch. Those cars, Chris Buescher, Martin Truex Jr., Matt DiBenedetto, Jamie McMurray, Alex Bowman. Also out there, Daniel Suarez, David Reagan, Anthony Alfredo, Ryan Newman, William Byron involved, Ryan Blaney involved, Kurt Busch, Eric Almirola, Tyler Reddick, Eric Jones, those involved in the big crash, headed off into turn number 3.
That was my favorite, and my favorite, and my favorite, and my favorite. Yeah, you get the idea. We took out some of the sport's biggest stars in that crash way too early in the running of the Daytona 500, and now we are getting word from NASCAR that we need to bring this race to a stop on pit road. We have lightning in the area. The skies have darkened here at Daytona, And so NASCAR has instructed all of the drivers and the teams to follow the pace car, that Corvette pace car, onto pit road and shut them down. And unfortunately, the crowd here is going to have to disassemble as well, seek some shelter. Lightning in the area. Within 8 miles of the racetrack, if we get a lightning strike, we have no choice but to put it on pause. And, well, this has been a grinding or halting start to the Daytona 500.
No kidding, Jeff. If you just think about it, if these drivers would have been able to just hang on for another 3-4 minutes, we'd potentially not torn up so many race cars. But as it stands right now, it's a mandatory 30-minute hold when there's lightning within 8 miles of the racetrack. So MRN weather delay coverage, by the way, is brought to you by new Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades. They're real-world proven for extreme weather performance, lasting 2 times longer than other blades. Only available at Walmart.
Everybody has a radar. Anybody that is in this country can pull up a radar and see what we're dealing with here in the great state of Florida. And there is certainly weather all around the racetrack. There's some out into central Florida and out onto the west coast. We do expect some of that to move this way. Our hope is, because it is tremendously scattered, that some of it will skirt us north, some south, and leave us alone. It's not raining at Daytona. I do knock on wood, because there are certainly some cells around us. But again, just as a safety precaution, and one that has to be in play, because you do have race fans here, and we don't want the race fan in danger. So we'll shut them down with Kevin Harvick. Christopher Bell got away unscathed. He's still second. Austin Dillon, then Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Ryan Preece, Joey Logano was in it, but apparently he stayed, was able to get through there. And Joey Logano right now shows up 8th in front of Michael McDowell and Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
It's tough. It really is. So many race cars taken out there, and a lot of them that people had penciled in as winning the Daytona 500 today. That will not happen at all because of the big crash over there, as Mike Bagley described at the end of the Daytona Superstretch, headed off into turn number 3. But again, under the red flag right now, which means all the cars that came to pit road and the teams began to try to assess the damage and work on them, they have to stop working on them because of red flags. So you cannot work on those damaged race cars while the red flag is out.
All right, Rusty, I'm going to put you back in the driver's seat here, and you're going to drive a number of cars during this little back-and-forth deal. You've had a chance to see it now. I'm going to put you in the driver's seat of the 20 of Christopher Bell. What happened? What was going on? Take us through it.
Christopher just tried to bump draft the back of Eric Almirola. Now, when I watched it, it looked fairly normal to me. They were pretty well in line. He didn't scrape across the bumper and turn him sideways. But when he gave that last little straight jolt where he was just dead in line behind Eric, for some reason, it lifted Eric's back of his car up just a little bit, unhooked it, and it made a big-time right-hand turn. I don't think Christopher thought that he hit him the way he hit him, that would turn him. I don't think Christopher ever thought he would turn the 10-car of Eric Almirola and send him in the wall that way, but it happened. And that was part of my progressive keys to the race. I told these guys, we were talking about it, I said, look, everybody's got so much adrenaline flowing. Everybody's so jacked up, they just got to stay calm somehow the first part of this race, because we've been seeing a lot of wrecks in the straightaways, and we just saw it again a little while ago. This is becoming the new norm for speedway racing, where they get a little too aggressive in the straightaways, and it turns the driver, upsets it, and they get in the wall. And I'm afraid that's going to continue. They learn from this, that's for sure. But I think that Christopher's going to go back and look at it and go, man, I didn't think I hit him that hard. I didn't think I caused this. But it happened.
15 laps are complete as we sit under the red flag. The field has been whittled down drastically because of the big crash. 40 drivers started the race again. Involved in the crash, 16 drivers. Some of those were able to drive away, so hopefully they'll be able to get those cars bandaged back up and get them back out on the racetrack.
So for now, we are going to sit and wait. We're in a lightning weather delay. Again, no rain at the moment, but we are under the red flag.